Episode 2771 of the number one podcast and Apple podcast for job search. You're listening to or watching No BS Job Search Advice Radio. I'm your host, Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome. People started to call me the Big Game Hunter when I did recruiting. I'd hunt down leaders in staff organizations, did it for a heck of a long time, filled a whole bunch of positions and consulting assignments. Now people hire me for no BS job search advice and coaching globally because I make job search and a bunch of other things so much easier for people. And today I'm going to talk with you about when and how to use a value proposition letter as part of your efforts to land work. A VPL is a great tool for some of you, and this is a show I've pulled out of the archive, so you'll recognize the camera quality isn't perfect. I'm smaller on camera. I didn't quite know how to position myself at that time, but I've gotten a lot better, haven't I? Hope you find this helpful. Give the show a great review wherever you listen to it or watch it, and we'll be back in just one moment. Now, a value proposition letter, I think, is really best for cold emails. That is, you're reaching out to an organization, you're not seeing an advertisement, you don't really have a person whose name you can drop as an introduction. What you have is a situation where you're interested in a firm and you want to get their attention. So what a value proposition does is allow you to answer this question: what makes you different? How are you different than all the other people with this kind of job title or perform this function in a different organization or theirs that's going to make you interesting to this organization? So here's a couple of things that could go into a VPL. And I'll just simply say, there are variations on all of these, but I find these are particularly effective. And the first one is you start off with an introduction that says something along the lines of, can you use, or do you need, or would you find it helpful if you hired someone who, an opening that's designed to grab a little bit, to get their attention, to make people pause and go, yeah, I could use that, or nah. But more often than not, if you key in on the right points, they're going to be attracted to you. Your opening statement after that might describe a problem that you know that they're having because of research that you've done. So, for example, is in sales, I noticed that sales for your organization were down X number of percent, or sales volume is down X number of percent or X number of dollars. Could you use someone who could drive revenue, has a proven track record of driving revenue, is an individual who in an organization had suffered sales losses over the previous 3 years, personally directed sales to a point where revenues increased by. Things along those lines where you set a texture for what the problem is that you understand that they're facing and how in the past you helped turn it around. You talk using a couple of simple bullet points to illustrate what you've done that helped your current or previous organizations achieve certain objectives. Now, for most individuals, you want to focus on the current, because that's probably going to be most relevant for the jobs that you're going to be interested in. But if you're someone whose career took a right turn somewhere along the line, like you left an institution, weren't able to find anything, moved into consulting, maybe you want to use your institutional experience, your corporate experience, to drive your points home. If your consulting assignments have represented useful engagements for the next organization, that's what you're going to want to focus on. So list 2 or 3 different things that you've done with bullet points in order to illustrate why it is you're different than the average individual who might be trying to do this role.
You try to keep this all to about 150, maybe 175 words in length. In other words, a page. And I want to be clear, you may see it as a page on your screen. On the recipient side, I don't want this sent as an attachment because most people don't read attachments. I want it sent in the body of the email as an attention getter. So you can do it as in memo form to so-and-so, Chief Marketing Officer, from so-and-so, subject, and you talk about your unique characteristic. You distill it down to 4 or 5 words. They're going to be right to the point of what you can accomplish for the next organization. Suffice it to say, you don't use a lot of extraneous verbiage. You want to use powerful terms, power words that are going to help you stand out, and you want to use it very concisely. Again, we're trying to target 150 to 175 words in length. You include numbers. You quantify your successes in order to demonstrate the points that you can that in the past you've helped an organization turn things around or implement changes that have resulted in increased revenue or cost savings. Keep your language simple. Also, don't make it so, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't want to seem like a bureaucrat. You don't want to use nonsensical terms, things that are so cliched. Are you looking for a unique leader who has powered tall buildings in a single bound? It's ridiculous. You want to use very precise language that matters to the audience. They don't want to hear your fluff. They don't want to hear you puffing yourself up. Everything is focused on what you can do for them and demonstrating that you've done it in the past for another organization. So it's not a new step up for them. So again, try to keep it to 150, 175 words in length. Use at minimum 12-point fonts for the letter. Why? Because more often than not, there are people like me who are reading this who are at an age where smaller fonts become hard to read. So you want to keep it at a minimum of 12 point. You try to keep it with a very simple bullet, nothing too elaborate, and you focus everything on what you can do for them to help their organization grow, correct any sort of problem that you've learned that they have, and demonstrate how it is that you've done it in the past for another organization.
So that's today's show. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, here are a few ways that you can get more from me. First of all, visit my website, thebiggamehunter.us. There's a ton in the blog that can help you that's absolutely free. Go to the blog, go exploring. Like I said, a lot there to help you. If you want the important things coalesced for you, you can find out about my video courses that you can rent or buy, my books and guides. Again, there's a lot available through the site. And if you've got a question for me, press the schedule button, schedule time for trusted advisor services so I can answer your questions, or hire me to coach you if you're in an earlier stage of your search. I'd be very happy to help you. Hope you have a terrific day, and most importantly, be great. Take care.